0, 1. Let's get started.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Black and White United Show. I'm your host, Andreas. Thank you for joining me this evening. So, awesome news. The boys are back at training. So, some of the boys came back today, and they'll be going pretty much full steam ahead as of next week when the whole group returns. So, that's pretty good. We've got just some general news coming up, and then we're going to jump into a player focus tonight. And then I got a small message at the end of the video, which I want to pass on to everybody and see if people can contribute, which would be awesome. But let's just get straight into it. So nothing to be too alarmed about, but just some news today. Josh Dacos has gone in for scan, so he wasn't at training today. Believed to be a calf. There's not much news on it, so it's probably just a bit of a developing story. So stay tuned to all the Collingwood YouTubers and the club for putting out a statement, probably sometime tomorrow or over the weekend, probably, just to see what the thing is there. I wouldn't think it's anything too serious, probably just precautionary, leading into the start of sort of part 2 of the preseason for 2025. So I wouldn't get too worried about like that at the moment, but it's just a wait and see. But judging by his social media posts and Nick's as well, I reckon these boys are, playing it safe, and then they're going to go straight in next week. And yeah, they're both looking good. I've just got this slight feeling that Josh is going to have a breakthrough season. I think it goes under the radar a little bit because Nick had those 4 games at the end of the 2023 season, but it goes under the radar that Josh won the Collingwood Best and Fairest in a premiership year. And I know Nick probably would have had that done if he didn't, even if he just played, if he was on the team sheet for those 4 games, he probably would have done that. But that's something that the supporters and the AFL public in general need to sort of remember when you're talking about the Dacos boys. Yeah, Nick's like dominating and he's doing all this, but Josh is going under the radar. He's already got an All-Australian jacket, and he was a best and fairest at Collingwood in a premiership year. So, yeah, I think he'll be fine. So, in other news, which has come out today, or yesterday, or today, this has been a bit. Bobby Hill's put contract talks on hold. Now, this is not at all panic stations. This is hold tight, because he's not playing for his Collingwood future. He's contracted for 2 years, so this year and next year. So at the end of next year, he's got 2 seasons with us still. At the end of the 2026 season, this is not going to be a topic of conversation. I would put my house on it that he's going to have a contract extension done by either the start of the 2026 season or right at the end of this season, regardless of where the Pies finish. He would be putting that on hold simply to say, hey, let me concentrate on the season at hand now. Let me dominate. Let me become an All-Australian forward pocket or an All-Australian half forward. Let me win Collingwood's goal kicking. Let's go win another Norm Smith. Let's go win a premiership, and then we can talk about my pay. Like, he is playing not for his Collingwood future. He is playing to secure himself and his family and make sure that he earns top dollar. And this is exactly what you want players to do. Whenever Geordie's played for a contract, Mason Cox is a perfect example. And you'll see it with him this year too. He's not my player focus today, but you'll see it. When these players are playing for a contract, these guys, they play like it's literally their last time in the jumper, which sometimes it is. But I see Bobby tearing it up this season, and he will be a player focus that we'll do probably closer towards the season, if not during the season. Yeah. I wouldn't worry if any Collingwood fans whatsoever. Contract talks are on hold, and it's probably the best thing too, because before we go to the next subject, remember when Brodie Grundy was playing for his contract? Then he signed the big one. Yeah, different sort of set of circumstances, but the concept is the same. He signed the contract. Once he signed the contract, he was shit. Let's just cut all the BS. Yeah, he was crap, right? when he signed that contract after he dominated for such a long time. Then we had to see him try and get his way back into it. Next minute, he's injured, and he's played for two other clubs now since then. So sad to see, but better they put this on hold and you worry about it when either the season's done and we haven't done anything, or if we're going deep into the finals and stuff. You don't want it to be a distraction, and he's got a year left on his current deal. So let's just don't panic about that stuff. Now, just quickly before we go into the player spotlight, yes, I got a bottle of water. I think I'm coughing like crazy, so in between each thing, I'm just letting it rip. Bit of news out of the Carlton Football Club, which we're not going to talk about, but let me just say one thing. If this was Collingwood, right? If this happened to a Collingwood president, if this happened to a Collingwood CEO, if this happened to anybody on the Collingwood board, the AFL media, the media in general, would absolutely crucify us all year until that person was sacked. But it's not Collingwood. So, quick little headline, let's not worry about it. I mean, one of our players didn't shake a kid's hand when he got his premiership medal a couple of years ago, and then he had to do a full public apology and go to the kid's house or whatever it was, or bring him into the club for a full PR stunt, because he didn't shake a kid's hand. Like, really, like, the AFL should be ripping Carlton and should be ripping this guy apart. Not even going to say his name. Everyone knows his name, but just imagine if that happened to Collingwood. I mean, we can't fart without being in the fucking headlines. But anyway, excuse my language. Let's cut to the next subject. Okay, so my player focus for today is Jamie Elliott. Now, I know we did like a number series, which I'm going to get back on track on. Obviously, I did that right before the Christmas break and stuff, but we're doing a player focus today. We did Darcy Moore in our last video. This one here, we're doing Jamie Elliott. So just a few stats I wanted to bring up because it's going under the radar, but Jamie's playing a milestone game this year. And I want people's thoughts and opinions on what they see him going forward. But I just want to touch base on like the role that he's also played over the last 2 to 3 years with the structure of our team. So he was obviously he came to the club in 2012, as we all know, and we've gone through this. But Jamie's played as a tall forward for most of his career. Now, when obviously Travis Cloke and stuff was playing, he was playing as the smaller forward, but he got hit with injuries. Now, I just want to put into perspective in the 2022 season and also parts of last season when McStay wasn't playing because of his knee, Jamie had to play as a tall forward. Jamie Elliott is 5'10". Okay, that's not tall forward. That is small forward rover type player. To put it into perspective again for everybody, Jamie Elliott and Lachie Schultz are the same height. Now, you can't fathom Lachie Schultz playing as a tall forward, as a second tall forward. Like, he's not that player. Neither is Jamie. And I think that's partly contributed to his absence in the team since 2012 and all that, which we're going to go through in a second. His absence with injuries and stuff like that. Yeah, he's had some bad luck along the way. But for the majority of his career at Collingwood, he's had to play as a main target, which he shouldn't be doing that. In 2023, before McStay went down, you had McStay, Myercheck, the Cox and Cameron combination when they got back into it. You had him playing, and he wasn't playing as a tall forward. He was playing as a third, then as a third tall sort of, and a crumbing forward. Sorry, I couldn't get my words out then. And you saw in games he had clutch moments, clutch goals. He had just there were times when, like that game against Gold Coast in 23, where he scored that goal where he ran to the goal square, he tapped the ball back in from the behind, went around the post, and like that's a small coming forward, and that's what you want to see him do because his attack and his pressure like is elite. Like everyone thinks, yeah, Lachie Schultz tackle pressure. Jamie applies that, but you can't be a forward and apply that pressure while you are being a main target up forward. And that's the reason why he's had shoulder injury. I think his shoulder cleaned out last year, year before. He's had back injuries, knee injuries. He broke his leg in 2021 against Carlton. Like, I know that was a season not like that we want to forget, but that was part of the problem, was that, we had a main forward out that season. So if you look at when he was, I'm going to get to my main point now, but I want to touch. I want to touch on this quickly. In 2012, his first season at the club, he played 15 games. In 13, he played 20. In 14, he played 17. In 15, he played 20. This is when now the injuries hit, when we're trying to come back up under the Buckley era and push for finals. I believe this one was the back injury. In 2016, he played 0 games. 2017, he came back and played 17. And then 2018, I believe it was the hamstring lower back issue. I'm pretty sure. In that 2018 season, he didn't play a game. Now, can you imagine a fully fit Jamie Elliott who's taking marks, who's kicking goals, right, in our side in 2018? We win the flag that year. Forget the Darcy Moore stuff. Forget all that stuff. We win the flag that year. 2019, he kicked 16. He played 16 games. In 2020, he played 18. In 21, 13. And then 21's obviously, as I said, he broke his leg. And then 2022, he came back and he played 19 games for the season. In 23 was his best season. He played 24 games in 2023, and he kicked a career high 39 goals. In 2024, obviously, he had those issues, and he only played 15 games. Now, Jamie's playing a milestone this year. That round 6 game, I think it's 6 or 7, it's the Easter Thursday game against Brisbane, another marquee game that we pay other clubs for and to make money off us. He's playing his 200th game. Now, you're a player who's played since 2012. We're entering season 2025, and he's only playing 200 games. Now, he would have to be the unluckiest 200 game player at Collingwood ever. I mean, he's got a flag. He's a life member. He's had so many clutch moments for us and stuff. But I mean, if you look at that period between 2016 and to 2019, that 4-year period, he played 33 games. If you average it out to about 18 games per season, roughly, he played, give or take some injuries, buys, whatever, not making finals here and there, this, that. That's close to 70-something games, 74, 75 games throughout that time there. I mean, he's already surpassed 200. He's going into 250. Potentially, if he was to play in 2026, could be hitting 300 games. That's the type of caliber player that we're talking about. Now, Jamie's he's 32 at the moment. His birthday is in August, so he turns 33 at the end of the home and away season at the start of finals. The question that I'm posing to people now, right, is Jamie Elliott going to play in 2026? He is one of the older players that the media is just absolutely going nuts about. So, he's too old, this, that. If we're playing good, Jamie's playing good, and touch wood, he has an injury-free season. I mean, you can get your knocks here and there, have a week off, this is that. We'll have guys coming in, it's fine, right? But if he has a really good season, there is no reason why he can't go to 2026. So this is a wait and see. I'd like to hear what everybody's opinions are on that. But my biggest thing for Jamie this year, and this is why I'm putting it in the player spotlight, if McStay, Membry, and Myercheck are firing, they're your 3 tall forwards. Take out the Cox-Cameron combination resting up forward stuff. We're going to take that out, right? Forget about that for a second. But you're also going to put in the Bobby Hill factor. You're going to put in the Lockie Schultz factor. You're going to put in the Beau McCreary factor. The way the dynamic will work in the forward line. Then you've got someone like Jamie Elliott there. Now, these guys will all rotate. Some might not play every week, whatever it is, yeah? But if you have the key for Jamie Elliott's season this year, because the delivery from the midfield is going to be there, okay? The delivery is going to be there this season. You're going to have delivery off the halfback, the delivery off the off the midfield, and you're probably going to have more delivery off the half forward line as well. Okay, if the three M's, the triple M's, if they are fighting fit and they take the three key defenders, you are going to have finally a spud defender or a young defender, and Jamie Elliott is going to absolutely run rings around it. I'm going to call it now. If Jamie Elliott has an injury-free season, which obviously we can say about anyone, but I'm just putting it out there. If he is to play, let's say 20 home and away games, minimum, right? There is absolutely no reason why Jamie Elliott can't win our leading goal kicker this year. Because you think Membry is probably going to take some goals off my check. McStay is going to be another big tall forward, but a bit further up. Jamie Elliott can be kicking goals from 20 metres out, crumbing the pack, having a field day. I mean, you think about it. What team has four defenders that are like going that could stop that forward line? So I'm excited. I think Jamie's going to have, if he goes on for another 2 more years, I think this is the season where he could bust it open completely, and he could be such a secret weapon for us. Even though everyone knows he's good, it could be such a secret weapon for us because so much focus is going to be on the three talls, and then the first small that's going to be noticed is going to be Bobby Hill because he's at his peak at the moment, contract talks, non-Smith medalist. And then the second one that's going to be noticed is going to be Lockie Schultz because his first season at Collingwood wasn't lived up to the height, the expectation. You had the Ginnivan trade, all that crap. And then Elliott's just kicking back there. Watch this space. Trust me, it's going to be good. So just on a personal note, I wasn't going to say anything on my channel, but I was talking to my wife earlier today, and I thought it was probably good if I can at least get the awareness and stuff out there. I was going to sort of tell you the situation and stuff, but I'm going to read out to you guys what's happened. And this is obviously coming from my wife's perspective, but this is just for everyone to know. So, and yeah, I'll just read this to you now. She goes, "Hi, my name is Belinda, and thank you for coming across this page. Just before the festive period this year, my best friend's mother, Branka, was diagnosed with stage 4 small cell lung cancer. Small cell lung cancer is an aggressive and fast-growing type of lung cancer that starts in the lungs tissues and spreads quickly to the other parts of the body. At the end of 2024, Branka completed an aggressive chemotherapy treatment, and we were very excited to hear that the cancer in her lungs shrunk from 11 centimeters to 4 centimeters. Unfortunately, today, after completing a PET scan, we have just been informed that the cancer has now moved into numerous other parts of her body and into her brain, which means time is unfortunately not on her side. Branka has one wish. She would like to travel back to her hometown in Serbia to visit her brother, who she hasn't seen in over 17 years. Branka's daughter, Michelle, who's my wife Belinda's best friend, has 5 kids and a partner, Mark, who will do anything to make this happen. In July 2023, Michelle and Mark had their baby, Roman. Roman is Branka's shining light and being with her through every appointment and every single chemotherapy session to keep her spirits high. Michelle is hoping to try and get some money together so she and Roman can take Branka to Serbia before time's up to see her brother. Any donations to this final wish before heaven gains another angel will be greatly appreciated. And yeah, it'll mean a lot. Obviously, I'm not using this page to do this type of stuff, but this one's a bit more closer to home. So there's a GoFundMe page that's been set up. I will post the link to that on my Instagram, on my Black and White United Instagram page, which is already up now. It's already on there, and I'll also put the link in the description. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome. Thanks everyone for tuning in tonight. I'm pretty excited about the season ahead. The boys is back at training. We did our player focus with Jamie Elliott. Tell me what you think. Call it as you see it. And as always, go the Pies. Much love.